last race as well live tomorrow as well on 5 Live, as well as the Gold Cup. Right, 5 to 6. Now, house prices have fallen in London for the 6th month in a row, according to surveyors. Rob Young from 5 Live Money's got more. Rob?
Yes, for the past few years, house prices have been surging in London, but a report from the Royal Institution of Chartered Surveyors says that based on anecdotal evidence from their members, more surveyors are saying that London property prices have fallen for the past 6 months than those say that they've risen. The opposite is true for the rest of the UK, though, with price growth particularly high in Scotland and Northern Ireland, and in some parts of the country it seems to be because there's a lack of homes being put up for sale. We can talk to Naomi Heaton, who runs a business called London Central Portfolio, which advises those buying or investing in the London property market. Hi, Naomi.
Hi, Rob.
So why do you think we're seeing falls in London?
Well, that's the headline grabber, but if you actually look at their press release a little bit in more detail, these very same surveyors are predicting more growth in London than in the rest of the country over the next 5 years. They're projecting 30% growth. And also this February, which is what this press release is about, less surveyors are seeing a decrease than they were in January. So if anything, there has been a slowdown in growth over the last few months, but that it looks as though the tide, according to these surveyors, is changing.
They predict that it may well be, but there have been falls. Why is that? Do you think we're perhaps seeing fewer people from Russia or the Middle East buying property in London because of economic problems in Russia and the falling price of oil for the Middle East?
Right. Well, there has been a fall in price growth in London, but there haven't been a fall in prices. Those are two different things. And what we saw in August was that prices rose by 20% year on year. And what you normally find in the property market is that if you get very strong levels of growth, you tend to get a correction. It reaches its level. So the reality is, if you take London as a whole, there was a real spike in the market. There was a bit of a feeding frenzy, and that now it's consolidating. People are probably at their level of affordability. We're seeing more mortgage caps come in as well. And so inevitably, if you see a lot of double-digit growth, you tend to see it slowing down to single digits. Going on to your other point about Russian oligarchs and all the other crises in the world, we're really there talking about people who are buying in the very centre of London. The thing about Greater London is that is 8 million people, 12.5% of the population, and these so-called oligarchs are buying in central London. And actually all the drivers are in place. What we find is that economic and political turmoil tends to push people into London, not the other way.
Okay. Thank you, Naomi. That's Naomi Heaton there from London Central Portfolio. One other story.